YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey. I am Shakira. This has been a week. Can I just tell you? It's been insane. If you've been having the week from hell, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what happened to you. For me, poor kitty is constipated and we're trying to get him to evacuate it all. Poor thing. Anyway, keep kitty in your thoughts because he really needs it. Poor baby. All right, so um it's been so rough. Let's take a look at some stuff that I learned yesterday and let's go in search of it. Like liquidity voids and volume imbalances, after they've taken things out. I haven't been able to focus this week, but let's try. We gotta keep pressing forward. All right, without further ado, if that sounds like a good time, let's get at it, man. Let's get at it. We're gonna be beasts by the end of this year. Beasts. And then we can do what we want. All right. Let's get tiny. All right. Cool. And I'm using one screen, so my focus is going to be directly here. Changed my work environment, so can't use the bigger screen at the moment. Okay, so yes, Mini, and me get my stuff sorted out, right, and so I can see everything. My 1 hour, 15 minutes, and this is the 5 minute. For testing purposes, we're gonna go ahead and just use my back testing one, use the other ones for actual like potential setups, and we're gonna go from scratch here. Okay, let's go to the daily. And some weirdness, like I don't understand. Sometimes I don't know what the set business does. I gotta look that up. It's always on. All right, so as expected, and actually let's start on the monthly, just so we can keep ourselves in check, right? So this month started, and we'll start with our IDP ranges just to see where we are, right? So this is January, and I think the next full draw, will be the consequent encroachment of this wick right here, because I'm relatively bullish. So let's measure that. It's approximately there, and let's drop this right there. And let's set that as consequent encroachment. So that's just the midpoint of that wick, right? Let's get on to the weekly. Just setting my potential areas. Ooh, and look at that. First things first, we found one. Volume imbalance. Right there. Isn't that beautiful? Coincides perfectly with consequent encroachment, right? So it's an area where price didn't deliver. Look at it. Let's zoom right on in. There's nothing in between here. Price stop there, price stop there. Nothing in between. Not to mention it's a SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Cool. All right. But look, since we're looking for volume imbalances, let's look at all these, right? Volume imbalance. So from the open of that one and the close of that one, look at that big imbalance. Price has a tendency to come back in, rebalance it, and then move on to the next stage. Look at this one. Rebalanced it to the T. Maybe a little bit over. Look at these guys. Rebalanced it. Now, one thing I'm starting to learn is like whenever you have like an inside day candle, it's going to explode in the opposite direction, or maybe not the opposite direction, but it's going to explode in a direction, right? So as an example, let's find an inside day. Right. So this is an inside candle. Actually, no, that's not right. Sorry. Wrong way, wrong direction. Is that one? Nah, that tipped above it a little bit. Yeah, this one's an inside candle right here. Boom. So it never pierced the top of this and it didn't pierce the bottom of this guy. So you expect some sort of expansion in either direction after that, right? It's gonna do something and take out this range. So that's the other things that, we need to learn and stay on top of too. So that's as far back as we can go for that. We'll probably find more on the daily. But in terms of volume imbalances or liquidity voids, see how well price likes to come back into them and reprice them and make it a fair space. Because by the time they're done, like that came close, that finished it, we traded back down into it. Now it's a fair price, fairly balanced price right there. So now we have this little guy that they're trading up towards. And is that Monday, February 6th? Okay. Oh, right. I'm on weekly. Ha. So let's go to the daily now. So, my bias is still relatively bullish, right? And here's why. Let me drop a 60-day. Probably somewhere over here. And let's adjust that to, whoops, show me the bars. It's too far. 81 days. 60. Perfect. Okay, so what's the highest high of the 60-day space, which is this guy right here? And then the lowest low, which is down here in 60 days. Now, what I'm seeing is that they're not taking out the lows, right? In 60 days. Now, if I clone that, let's drop that down to 40 days. Right there. So the highest high in the 40 days is still this guy. And the lowest low on the 40 days is actually right there. Have they taken it out? No. Well, they have taken the highest high out, right? All the highs, they've taken them out. And then let's clone this and let's drop this to 20 days. Boom, boom, 20, perfect. And what's the highest high in the last 20 days? This guy. And what's the lowest low in the last 20 days? Now it's this. They also haven't taken this out. What they have been doing is working towards taking out the highs, and they've taken them out. So I'm just from a higher time frame, I'm pretty bullish. They're going to be coming to rebalance this, I think. But if we're thinking about it, right, there was I think an imbalance in this space. Let me turn this on. Yep. So they're just coming down to balance price, right? And on top of that, liquidity void in here. They've rebalanced that. Another one in here. They've rebalanced it. This is a fair balanced price area right here. So let's drop down into say the 1 hour. All right. And we are on the 9th already. And we're looking at regular trading hours right now. So let's take a look at the way this week started. So this is not right. Friday. There we go. So let's zoom in on. Actually, let me get this. Let's zoom in on this price action. Now here we are, another liquidity void. So it's the new week opening. What does ICT call it? Let's tip over there for a second. Oops. What am I doing? Sorry, guys. That was me making my notes. So new week opening gap. Right, there we go. Couldn't remember the whole thing. So let's mark that out, right? So this is Friday and price closed at the base of this and opened there. And look at what it's been doing. It's like a magnet, right? They've been slowly but surely diving into it and then reach, look at this guy. They blew through it to reprice it, and they brought it back down to make it a fair space, and then you can start doing some stuff. Let's look at that on a 15 minutes. New week opening gap. Isn't that funny? Look at them. It's a price magnet, but it's been really choppy this week. There've been a few good scenarios. I think yesterday morning at Tuesday morning at 7 or so. Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Wednesday, 7. See this? Oh, where am I? 15 minutes? Oh, sorry, let me put that back. Only need that to show the gap. So Wednesday morning though, it's Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday, this is the high of the Tuesday, and Wednesday started. So let's do a little bit of an analysis on this guy, right? So where did price start? On Wednesday, midnight, right there. All right, so it opened right there. So let's just miss this midnight opening price right there. So I'm finding that if I wake up like 6 or something, I'll start to be able to see certain setups, right? So let's think about this. So ICT noted, something about if you're on a bearish stance. So consequent encroachment is up here for this thing, right? Just tap that. Consequent encroachment. So he was saying that if you're on a bearish space, then most likely price won't ever make it up to consequent encroachment. It'll make it up to 50% to where consequent encroachment is. And let me check my note. Back up. Let's make that a little bigger so we can see it. So he said, when there is a heavy bearish stance, CE is likely not to be traded to. The most likely, only a quarter of the wick will be taken. And yeah, they took a quarter of the wick. Perfectly almost. A little bit above it and dropped. So in this scenario, what do we have, right? So they did all of that. And I'm thinking to myself, they've taken out buy side, right? Like right here. And let's drop to the 5 minutes. Actually, before I do that, let me hit the replay button so I can do this. Something like that. Maybe we'll go back a little further because we want to go down into like the super low time frames, right? And find ourselves an entry just for the funsies. And it's what I was looking at. It's one of my notes from yesterday. So we're just kind of like reanalyzing it basically. So what do they do? They took out, right, let's go to the 5 minutes so we can see it a little bit more clearly. So they took out buy side liquidity right here, right? That's not perfect, but see it? Let's do that. They took out, that's not the right one, buy side liquidity. They took that out. And then they made themselves, you know, they broke it right here. A nice market shift right there. Let me drop the break in there. Just make it obvious. And then we have sell side all the way down here. So I'm just going to mark this out, sell side. Sell side liquidity all the way down here. Let's change that color. Boom. Let's make it, whoops. Let's make it a line. Let's make it thick. And same thing for buy side. Let's make that green and let's make it thick. Easy to see. And definitely not, right there we go. Right? So then this did a break here, and then we have a fair value gap right here. Approximately right in there. Last of that wick right there, and the top of that wick. So we have a fair value gap right there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's take a look at this green candle, the low of it, right? And it's up here. So the low of this green candle is 41.75. And the wick, the high of this candle is 41.75. So imagine, right? You had your limit order set, after, and this is like a turtle soup, right? They've taken this, they've broken things. Actually, it's not quite a turtle soup, is it? It's a 2022 model. Turtle soup doesn't require an actual like shift or whatever. At least that's what I learned yesterday. And you set your order at exactly the wick of this bearish order block, right? Because there's nothing up here for them to come for, right? And then let's also take a look at other things. So um things is also a breakup block right here too. Because we have a lower low and a higher thing. So we're also inside of this breaker block. So if you'd also set, what's the low of this breaker block? 41.75 and a quarter. So, um, actually, let me draw that out to the corner. I'm just curious, like if it would have, I need to put this over here. I'm just curious to see if it would have picked it up. So if I did that right on the tip right there. So it's a little bit higher than this order block, but it's within the breaker block, right? So you had a couple of things. So you had a breaker block, you have an order block, you have a fair value gap, you have a shift, buy side's been taken. I don't know, what more do you need, right? Not to mention the fact that they've been coming up, right? And they stopped at quarter of the consequent encroachment, this rejection wick right here. So you have a lot of things going for you. So then you could have taken this, set your stop loss right above like a tick or two above the order block in the candle, and it would have tapped it, and then you could have, what I've been doing lately in my mind is, once we have sell side, if we have like an imbalance below, right, then I would be aiming for the sell side and maybe the imbalance below it. And I think there's one right here. Yep. Okay, good. I'm trying to train my eyes to see without the indicator. So then I would have been like, all right, let's like do this and tap that. So just a little bit inside of it. And then let's see. Yep. And that would have been, what's that, a 1 to 10 with 6 tick and 60. Not bad, right? And that's like the cleanest it was yesterday, I believe. The cleanest it was yesterday. I think if we let's drop down, since we're in the 5 minutes, drop down to the 4 minute. Because I think there was another thing that made this even more juicy, potentially, for an entry. Um, okay, it's not there. It's 3 minutes. I'm just curious because, if you've got everything together, there's a liquidity void you can enter from at the void itself. I'm trying to recall if there was one. Ah, yes, there it is. So you gotta like hunt for it too, right? You gotta like, as you're looking for entries, you gotta look in between. So here we have a void right here. Look at that. It's a liquidity void. They never came back up to balance it out. It's a really tiny one. So if you didn't want to take the entry from this order block right here, you could have just as easily taken it from the liquidity void, and then your entry would have been like at the top of the void, right? And then your stop loss would be probably like still right above that. It always seems like more on the lower time frames. Well, still 5 ticks, 6 ticks, like that. And then look how beautifully that would have that delivered so fast, you know? And on the 1 minute, the void is even more obvious. Look at that. Could refine it down even more. Oh, I'm messing with the fair value gap. Sorry about that. But yeah, the I should have given the void a different color so you guys can see it more clearly. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful delivery. Set your stop limit at the top of the void because you know they're going to fill it, and then it fits perfectly with the actual order, bearish order block that's here. Wow, isn't that cool? Just wow. So that was something very nice to learn yesterday. And, these types of setups is probably going to end up being like my bread and butter. You know what I mean? But they don't always pan out, right? Like we have another scenario here where they took out buy side right there and they didn't really give us anything. It's all very balanced, right? It's all very balanced until they come back up to what's on the higher time frames. Very cool. Very, very cool. So much easier to see on the 2 minute. But it's funny how you can't see it, say, on the 3 minute, right? It's just one candle. But once you hit the 2 minute and lower, then you start to see the breaks. There are things that ICT can see in like the seconds, like actual setups on the seconds. That's making me wonder if I should, you know, adjust my trading view so I can see the seconds so I can like, refine my entries. But I feel like for now, I think this is enough, but maybe one day it won't be. And that was a nice run, right? Oh, I gapped down there. I would have gotten all of this. Because remember, we have this fair value gap down here that I haven't drawn out. The question is, are they going to take out this 41.49? Now, this is one of those situations where you could be in the trade, you could be moving your stop loss once it takes out this liquidity. The other thing that he was like noting is once, so let's go from here to here, right? So we're in a premium up here and a discount. So once price heads back into a premium, that's where you want to take your stuff. While it's in a discount, you don't want to be doing anything. You're just going to be managing it. Once it leaves discount, like you could be adding to your position here is what he's saying. While it's dropping, you can be adding to it. Once it leaves a discount, then he's saying, go ahead and like, stop. Just manage the trade from this point. Like start taking partials. Like when it hit this liquidity space, let's say I'm a newbie, so I would have entered with one contract, right? And I would just take in my one contract and gone. Well, let's say I upgrade myself to two contracts. So once I hit this sell side liquidity, I take one off, right? Move my stop loss and then let the other one play out to my take profit. And then if I get stopped out at the same spot, then, it's all good. Now, would that have worked out for me? Because in my mind, we set this like once that's taken and I've got, I expect it to do something in this general vicinity, meaning like stall because it is sell side, right? Like they've taken it, they're thinking about what they want to do about it. You know what I mean? And price is relatively balanced here. So if I turn this back on, I shouldn't see anything here, right? No imbalances, no nothing. So in my mind, once I'm probably not gonna move my stop loss until into like break even. Like we have this spot, I probably would have moved it here first, you know, as price was dropping down. And then once it took sell side, then, I don't expect them since I'm expecting them to go down to hit the fair value gap down there, I don't expect them to come down. So I would have probably moved it to the top of this imbalance right there. And as you can see, they came up and they almost took it. And then honestly, I've taken my one off here, my stop loss is up here. And then once they took made another shift here, then I would have moved my one contract to break even with my sell side with the shift, and actually um, they're giving you another opportunity for an entry here. You could have come back, you could have taken it, boom, and ooh, there's another gap. Is that a gap? Zoom in on it. No, that's balanced. But there's a gap right here, right there. They happen everywhere. I think it's just important where you find it for the entries and exits and all that good stuff. And then I would have, put my stop loss above here. Once it broke, yeah, right, and been just a little bit better than that, and then just let it ride. And this way, I'm happy either way. I get what I got here. I get it again here. Life is good. But that requires you to like manage the trades, right? Manage it. So, so we had a number of things for this particular entry, but then the rest of the day became very choppy after that. Because look, it took that and then I would have been stopped out. And fine, 2 contracts? Come now. Let's think about what that means monetarily, right? So if we stuck with like 2 ticks, I've been like 2 ticks below whatever the sell side, because they're always going to overshoot it by a little bit, right? So let's think about what that is. That is 44 ticks, right? And we're aiming for 60. So 44 ticks divided by 4, right? Times $50. One contract, I've taken off 550, right? Beautiful. So 550 in my pocket. Now I'm waiting. I have one more contract that's waiting for 60 ticks, right? 62, but 60 ticks. And the 2 extra ticks is to cover fees and all that jazz. I noticed Michael said that. And I would have gotten that, right? So then I already have banked 550. My stop loss is moved in a nice, beautiful place. Boom, boom, boom. And then I have one more contract that I will come off at 60. So that's 15 handles times $50. It's another 750 for the other contract for a grand total of $1,300. And that's $1,300 made in 34 minutes. How can you beat that, right? For an original risk of 6 ticks, right? Which would be, I think, 6 divided by 4, 1.5 times 50, $75, right? Which is not even 1% of what I would consider for, let's say if you were using 10,000, $100 would be your 1% risk on each trade. Like, what? That's beautiful. You can't tell me that isn't beautiful. I mean, you can't. You can't tell me. You cannot convince me that that isn't beautiful. Anyway, so that's early in the morning, and that got done. That's yeah, that was like between 3 a.m. I'm almost positive that we had another setup at 7 a.m. So let's let price move forward. I didn't even realize how late it was, but if these are the setups I'm getting in Asia, I will get up and do my thing. And let me draw this out here. So that was the fair value gap that we're coming to. And look, wow, look how perfectly they filled it in. I could have just been like, psh, done, just done, right into it. All right, so now I technically wake up around 6, right? So 3:45 and we're coming back up. We've made a break. We're bearish. Here's another potential break. We're coming back into this fair value gap. We are at 4.5. So let's go to when I would be awake, right? So I get up about 5 a.m. approximately, 4:30. By the way, look at this price action. What do we have? We have a shift, a very significant one, by the way. Very significant one. And price came to rebalance Where did that stop? What's the high of that? I'm looking up here. The high of that is 41.70. What's the open of this? At least the high of this is, the open is 41.70. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? They stopped to the tick and then turned around. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. It's crazy. Anyway, still not awake for that, so not doing anything there. Okay, where are we? 5 o'clock. So I'm awake at 5 o'clock. So I come in here and I take a look, and here's all this juiciness that happened in the middle of the night. And, you know, we're heading towards this guy. They've filled it in. They've done that. Let's see, we can clean up this by this sell side. That break. The void. They've taken here the void. Let's clean things up. And this is the opening price at midnight. They've traded very far away from it. Actually, let's adjust. That was on the 7th. Oh, sorry. That is the 8th, yes. Put that back. Yes, opening price. Okay, so we are on the 5 minutes. Okay, beautiful. So it's 5 o'clock. We've been dropping back down into this fair value gap. And I'm going to wait until something forms. And let's go to the 15-minute just for the funsies, right? Let's see what so we've got tunnel vision so far, right? And this is the weekly, the new week opening gap, right? So in my mind, they need to rebalance this. Or do they? And they've already been to it, but it's a draw, right? Smart money likes to come here, accumulate, go. Something like that, right? Yep, something like that. So if I'm to refine this even further, if I were to refine it on the 15-minute, let's see, there it is, Friday, Sunday. So if I were to refine it further on the 15-minute, what are you doing? Something locked somewhere? Ah, there we go. If I were to refine it even more, we could do this. Even more, like so. They've been using it as a springboard. So, bullseye target. We balanced it already. But they've been, like, it's been acting as resistance for a while there. And then they busted through. We're bouncing. Cool. And now we're trading above it, right? Let's remove that. So, we're back at our fair value gap. It is now 5:30 in the morning. I'm awake, groggy, but I'm awake. All right, so what do we have? We have sell side right up here. So let's mark that out. Now the question is, sorry, buy side. Saying that wrong. So we have buy side up here. Why did I make those? Let's look at the line. Okay. And since price has already done its thing, let's put this to the left on the top. Oops. Let's put that on the top. Top. Okay. So we have buy side here. And technically they could take all of this, but let's assume buy side there. We're on the 15-minute. I might need to adjust my thoughts. It could be down here. Actually there. There's actually, ooh, rejection wick. Haha, funny. So consequent encroachment on the rejection wick. Let's 15 minutes. Let's do this. So right about there, consequent encroachment, beautiful. So we have this rejection wick, wrap buy side up here, there's sell side, there's buy side down here as well that they could come in on, but look at all the wicking. It's starting to get choppy. Like this morning was nice. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful delivery. Okay, so what time is it? 5:45? 6:15. Still just hanging out. Okay, 6:30. Let me go on to the 5 minute on the 6 at 6:30. What do we have? What kind of weird, fun things do we have? Okay, so we have consequent encroachment. They have not come down to it. They've been doing all of this. We've got sell side here that I suspect they're going to come and take shortly. All the way down here. Ooh, relatively clean. Yep, they're taking that. They're going to take the heck out of those clean, clean, clean faces. So let's do that. Specify sell side right there. So it looks like they're coming down to take that out. Consequent encroachment on this one is 4150, approximately 4158 and 3/4. And let's see. So definitely up. What do I have to play with on this 5 minutes? Oof, they also have relatively equal highs here. That is a glaring come and take me. And buy side up here, about 4168 and third. Let's see if they want to come do that. So lots of targets up here. Relatively equal highs. I would be targeting that. And they haven't taken it. Okay. So still nothing for me to do because it's choppy. Ooh, all right. So they took that out. Shift. Do they give me something to work with? Now they've, again, relatively equal lows here almost, right? And now they've come back up. So I'm going to go down to say 2 minutes, see what that looks like. All right, so what do we have? We've got this shift right here. And what other fun things do we have in this general space? Well, let's see. They've taken out sell side right here. Equal highs up here. They've shifted back up to this order block right here. They made a break, and there's a tiny, tiny imbalance there. So what if I were to set my order right here, the base of this guy with my stop loss right above that guy? How many ticks is that? 3? That's pretty close. So I can stand to go above that. And then they've got these equal lows right here. So I could be aiming for just like 2 ticks below that, something like that. It's not a lot. Let's try for 20 handles. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to 1 minute. And see if I can get an entry. Now, what else do we have in this general vicinity? Okay, we've been choppy, choppy, choppy. We had a nice break. Oops. Nice break here. And what else is in the vicinity? So we have this order block, and it's an order block I'm finding because this order block right here is an order block because there's a fair value backout gap or imbalance attached to it. And price hasn't been able to like breach any of this stuff. So let's set my order to at the base of this guy right there. Yep. And let's see how this plays out. All right, boom, but I got it right there. And now I'm in. Let's look down over here for targets. Zoom in. So on the 1 minute, what do we have? That's already taken. We have this fair value gap here at 453 and a 3/4. So it's so choppy. I'm gonna just try for the 20 handles. Let's see. Okay. All right. Come now. Ooh. And stopped out. Okay. That one did not work out in my favor. So choppy. Okay. Let's go back up into the... All right, so it looks like they want to take these out. Now, let's be honest, right? This is buy side right here. So if they're going to take it out, so my 20 handle short was a bad idea. Let's see what they do. So they still haven't taken these out yet. They come back down. So did they come into this order block right here? Yes, yes, they did. Okay. Now, could I have gotten a 20 handle? Well, let's be honest, I didn't see it, right? And I would have been aiming for that wick anyway, with my stop right above the order block, a tick or two. And it's 20 handles. Let's see. Yep, would have gotten that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy on that guy. Is that 9 handles really? Oh, it's too far. No. With a 9 handle risk. So 9 handles, it's 2.25 handles times 50. $112. A little bit more than I'd like, but you know, it is what it is. We're still hypothetically doing stuff. And then this one was a 5 handle risk times 50. So that was a $62 loss. So $62 lost in the first attempt, $250 made on the second. So net $187.50 minus fees, whatever. So not bad if we'd gotten this, but I wouldn't have thought to do it. So let us continue on. Let's see. 41 minutes. All right, let's make this the last one. So the reason why you need to like zoom out is to see what the heck is happening. Look at all this choppy. So nothing really for me to do. So I'm gonna go back down to the 5 minute. We've sat ourselves in a range. So I'm gonna do this. The base of it. So I have some idea as to when it's premium and discount, right? So I know when to buy and when to sell. I need to get into the habit of doing that more often. Yep. Okay, so actually I'll go down to the 1 minute for that. So my original, I think, was in the discount, and that's why I got stopped out. Silly Shakira, because I entered somewhere about here, aiming for down here, and got stopped out. This one was better. All right, so when you're in a range, I mean, you're just basically looking for it to tap the top of the range, give you a reason, like it did over here. Tap the top of the range, gave me a fair value gap right here. I can enter that order block and then write it down to the base. Boom. Boom. Sell side. Take it. Gone. Done. All right, so what do we have? So we had a break here. We've broken things here. We've come back down into an order block. I don't like this. This is so choppy. Do any of you feel comfortable in this situation? I know I don't. So, you know, I'm not gonna do anything. They gotta break something. Give me some indication. So, and they're hanging out at equilibrium anyway. So, what is there to do? So, let me wait for. I need this to be taken or this to be taken. All right. Let me adjust that because there were sell side here. So they took that. Buy side's up here. What does that look like on the 1 minute? All right, let's analyze. So they still haven't taken these relatively equal. Oh, maybe they did. And zoom in. They took it. And then Shakira, Feo, they took the buy side here. Didn't even see it. Right there. They left us with a liquidity void right there. Oh man, look at that. Didn't even realize it. You gotta look closely. You gotta look really closely. This is the entry, right? They left us, they gave us all the signatures. So the top of the void would have been an entry. Oh my God, look how perfect. Stop loss above that guy. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Still a short position. Top of the liquidity void, stop loss above the order block right there. And then, oops. And then we're aiming for this, the base of this thing, for them to take that out. 2 ticks, something like that. What is that? 33? Take it, whatever. And look, could be managing the trade. They broke it, so I expect them to try and come back into this imbalance right here, fair value gap, and then order block, and then continue on down. Let's see. Oh, we just got what we wanted. Done and dusted. Beautiful. And 33 ticks, not bad, right? With a 4-tick stop loss, not bad at all. 4-tick stop loss, $50 stop loss. Beautiful. I like those. I mean, 33 divided by 4, that's 8.25 handles times 50, $412. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, well, I'm going to draw this to a close. Situational awareness, y'all. That's what we needed. Situational awareness. The first two, didn't realize we were in a sideways market. ICT says, like, if you can't understand what you're looking at for price, then you're probably in some kind of choppy sideways space. So much to learn. But it's coming. It's beautiful. I'm here for it. All right, guys. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you feel like. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna go check on Kitty. But baby, he's not drinking. I gotta go squirt water in his mouth to keep him hydrated. Oh, man, he's having a rough week. Happy trading. Be safe.